Hello, my friends, and welcome back to Where Wendy Travels, Where Wendy Creates. Today I wanted to talk about opening a fabric shop. So there's lots of considerations to have when you're looking at a fabric shop, but what are some of the preliminary thoughts? The preliminary thoughts are, well, over 543 businesses of Joann Fabrics is closing up around the country, and in many spots we don't have the mom and pop fabric stores to fill in the gaps. So that leaves online, which could be my biggest concern for opening a business. But today I want to sit down and just talk about some of my thoughts and put some of my thoughts down into words. So I wanted to share those with you today. So what is a brief business plan for opening a quilt store, or what would that even look like? Well, we'd have to come up with a name, of course. A retail business specializing in quilting fabric, supplies, classes. I love to teach. I love to share. I love to be surrounded by fabric and like-minded people. So if you're like that, hit that subscribe button right now because you're in the right spot. But let's get on with it. My mission would be to provide high-quality materials, expert guidance. I've got one of the best teachers in the world helping me through the long arming and the sewing journey, and a lot of quilt groups out there could offer that same guidance. So I'd love to be a place where I could let you know all the different places to learn and have fun and to build up your sewing experience. I would have to have a welcoming environment. It really drives me crazy when I walk into a small store, especially a mom and pop store, and I'm not greeted. I want the store to look welcoming. I want it to feel welcoming. I want it to be welcoming. I want to say hello to everybody that would come in. It would have to be for all skill levels. I want the crafter who's never added fabric to their crafts, to the very experienced, I know it all, I own it all, I can teach it all, that person. So also would want to have workshops for everyone, custom quilting services, and of course a selection of handcrafted quilts. So if I'm looking at a quilt store, I've got to look at all aspects of quilting and be that one place that everybody could come to then get routed in those different areas if I didn't have it right there in the store. So I'd need to have a big enough space so not only could you have touchy-feely of everything that you're looking to buy, but also for the workshops, for the classes, for the community. Just come on in, bring what you got, and let's play. So business goals: establish a reputable quilt store in a high traffic area. Very important, my friends. A lot of stores don't make it because location. So offer a wide variety of quilting fabrics, tools, notions, classes, education, provide quilting classes and workshops, generate revenue through retail sales, custom quilting services, and online sales. And of course, if I didn't have the long arm services there, I'd have to have the business cards and the personal knowledge and background of anybody and everybody that I would recommend that my customers go to. And again, that's creating a strong community of quilting enthusiasts. So what's the step-by-step plan? So let's try and bullet point some of this so I don't talk your ear off. But research and planning, I'd have to conduct market research to identify demand and competition, decide on, am I only going to have quilting fabric? What's my niche? What's my pre-cuts or only bolts? A combination of what is my specialty, if you will. Define my target audience. Is it hobbyists? Is it professionals? Is it beginners? I want to work for everybody. I want everybody to feel welcome. How do I do that? So put some thoughts down. Choose a business name, and then I'd have to register it. So we can get into the registering, the taxes, and all that in a different video. But develop a marketing strategy, including social media presence. I put up a sign, not everybody's going to come in. I need advertising. And what better opportunity for advertising nowadays except through social media? So if I were to look to open a quilt store or a fabric store, craft store, any kind of store, I would want to build my presence up in social media, get the word out there, and try and get everybody to share. So right now, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and hit share. Send this video to somebody who might want to look at opening a business, because I would love for you to share. Use that social media presence to let them know I have a YouTube channel and maybe they'd be interested. So, business registration and licensing. Register your business as an LLC, sole proprietorship, or corporation. Obtain necessary permits and business licenses. Get an employer identification number, an EIN, from the IRS. Again, all this is just bullet point. We can get into more details later. Check zoning laws. Lease agreements. What does renting a retail space look like? What is the contract? How long is the contract? Is there any future plans for road construction that may affect that property? Because I'm always going to need a parking lot, my friends. And please, please, please don't make that mistake of having 3 parking spots and wanting to hold classes for a dozen people. So there's lots of little things to consider. So again, choosing a location. Find a storefront with good visibility, great foot traffic. We want people to come in because they're eating next door and they're thinking about us. We want them to come in because, hey, maybe we're close to one of those other craft stores and they see us, so they come in, and I get traffic that way as well. Consider leasing costs and negotiate terms. Oftentimes, when you're talking to somebody, you can negotiate terms. You do not have to buy at that price. You do not have to rent at that price. You can always see if there's a possibility for lowering that, or, you know, a discount on the first 3 months when I get started, discount on the first 6 months, with an understanding it goes up 10% afterwards. Again, negotiate. It's a possibility. Keep track of trends and customer preferences. If you're going to be opening a business, you got to know the ins and outs of your competition. You've got to know what people want, what kind of fabric they want. So all that's very, very important, and you've got to really start thinking about that. You also want to look at establishing accounts with major suppliers. If we're looking at fabrics, we're looking at Moda, Riley, Blake, HF Fashions. We're looking at Robert Kaufman Fashions. We're looking at so many, many, many different companies out there that in order to sell their merchandise, I need to know what it takes to do that. So I need my wholesaler's license. I need to register it with all these companies. I've got to find out what prices and what do the other stores sell. Maybe I want to be unique. Maybe I want to handle a majority of what they do in the next state over from me. So do a lot of research. Offer quilting kits and patterns, okay? A class is wonderful, but even those who won't take a class will buy that quilt pattern. A lot of people want all the fabrics together with the pattern. You know, I do, you do. I'm talking to the choir. Okay, so we want to establish the accounts, track trends, customer preferences, know what your audience might want, and then design the store layout. We can do that right now. We can do that years in advance. We can do that in advance. So what does your ideal store possibly look at? Dream it now. Put it in your junk journal. Enjoy it. Set up displays, shelves, cutting tables, checkout counter. It's not just buying the fabric. It's buying all the cutting materials, all of the tables, all of the shelving. Look at those prices. You can do that before you open a business, and that way you know what your costs are going to be. You also want a classroom area for quilting lessons. You want workshop space. You want to know if you're going to invite the community in. And my friends, how long are you going to personally be there day to day? Maybe you want a kitchenette. Got to make sure you have a restroom or two, even if it's only for employee use. Financial planning and budgeting. Okay, the monster, the elephant in the room. We got to look at costs. Now, you're going to know your costs when you do some research. But if you're just playing with the idea right now because you see Joann Fabrics going out of business and hello McFly, we have 49 states plus that may need some additional quilt stores, some additional fabric stores, clothing stores that sell fabric for making clothes. There's a market out there now, and it's open and ready for you. So if you're looking at business registration and permits, everything depends upon the province, the county, the state, the area that you're in. But you can mark down between $500 and $1,000 for the business registration and the permits. Retail space, you got to look at paying 3 months in advance. So you're looking, depending upon where you're looking at, the size of the space, again, don't buy too small. Please don't buy too small. Nobody wants to come into a tiny store. The first 3 months, you're looking at $3,000 to $10,000. Again, that's an area you may be able to negotiate for a while. Store renovation and setup. You can't just buy a ready to move in store. That would be like really, really wonderful. So with your renovation, your painting, your cleaning, your flooring, your shelving, you're looking at probably $5,000 to $15,000 easily. So please budget that. Don't go over. Initial inventory. You're not going to open a store for less than $10,000 worth of merchandise. And again, that's tiny. So you've got to look at $10,000 to $25,000 just for your initial inventory. Now, you need the cutting tables. You need the computers, the cash register, the shelving. You're looking at $5,000 to $10,000 just for the equipment that, no, you're not going to sell it again. That's just a cost that goes in your bare walls to make your store a store. Also, please, please, please plan already on putting quilts up on your walls. Nothing is prettier and happier than a clean space, a fresh space, neat space, and we want to be inspired when we walk in there. So that's an idea. Marketing and branding. My friends, yes, we can do a lot on social media, but you may want billboards up on the interstate telling people where you're at. They can easily run $300 to $500 a month. It's crazy. So think of your different marketing and branding strategies. Branding also includes all the letterhead, the flyers, the postcards, anything you're going to have to help brand your store and get it out there in the eyes. You're going to look at spending probably upwards of $5,000 on that. Website development. A lot of us can't do it ourselves. We've got to have that computer system that can also be our cash register, inventory control, paying our employees is very important. You're probably looking at somebody else to help you set up that system or buying those softwares to do it. You're easily going to spend over $2,000, maybe even up to $5,000. Insurance. It's a necessary evil. Trust me, you don't want to be without insurance. It guarantees you against certain types of loss. Read your policy, know your policy, talk to an expert. But your insurance is going to be about $1,000 to $2,500. So staff salaries. Oh my goodness, do we have to have staff? Well, yes. Yes. You can't do it yourself. You can't do it with you and a partner. You're going to have staff. You're going to have somebody cutting, somebody socializing, somebody teaching, somebody working. So just go ahead and put it in there. Depending upon who you hire, how you hire them, how many you need, you're possibly going to look at $3,000 or better just for paying for the employee salaries. Something always pops up too, my friends. So don't not give yourself a buffer. Give yourself a buffer. So just throw $2,000 in for whatever we didn't say ahead of time, because there's always those little things that come up that you're going to need. Oh, wow, I've got to call a plumber because the owner of the building's not doing this and I want to do this. He said I can, but he won't pay for it. Something always comes up. So $2,000 buffer to start with. So we're looking at, my friends, a minimum of, and this is rock bottom absolute minimum, of about $35,000 just for day one of the store. Day one. And it could easily be up to $82,000 just for day one grand opening. And then we look at monthly expenses, okay? How much money can I bring in, because I'm going to have outlay of monthly expenses of about $8,000 to $25,000 because we're looking at rent. We're looking at utilities. We're looking at inventory restocking, always, always, always growing and growing and growing and getting bigger until we're the happy spot. Staff salaries, marketing and advertising, website maintenance, insurance, miscellaneous. There's always going to be something else. So you're going to need a bare minimum of, $8,000, $9,000 there, if not the $25,000. Hiring staff. Oh my goodness, we have all shared our tragedies about Joann Fabrics and how we ask an employee a question and they can't help us. Having quality staff knowledgeable about sewing, knowledgeable about fabrics, knowledgeable about quilting is important. So you want to also train that staff on customer service. You want to tell them that you have to be bubbly in my store. You have to be helpful in my store. This is your store. If you work here, this is your store. Be the store. So be happy, be helpful, and hire the right people. It's really hard for that. And also you want to train the staff, even if it's just having them attend and pay for their time for them to attend some of the quilt classes, the workshops that you offer, so they get more knowledgeable on the different techniques. You also want to consider hiring part-time instructors for quilting classes. Or perhaps we're going to let Sylvia, my mom, come in and teach 10 different ladies, blah, 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 on quilting. And I'm going to pay her half of the price of the class. Is that enough? What happens if she only gets 5 people, but she has a minimum fee? So you've got to think about all those behind the scenes too. So marketing and promotion. We have to grow the business. If we're going to open a door, we have to have business ready to come in. So we have to have that website, online sales, blog for quilting tips, get people interested in us, bring them into the store. Online sales could be, so they're traveling, they see my sign, they pop in, they buy something. Well, when they go home, I want them to contact me and say, oh, I saw this, or, oh, do you have this? Yes, I want them repeat customers. Social media platforms. You're going to have time spread really thin over a lot of different things because you need to manage the Pinterest, Instagram, Facebook, whatever you have to showcase your different projects, your classes, your store, your fabrics. Always have something new. Always be able to share something different and exciting. Offer grand opening promotions and discounts. Offer, Christmas in July. Offer different things to get people in your door. Maybe just a seam ripper, a free seam ripper for the first 100 people in the store this weekend. Something. And what that does, my friends, is the seam ripper may cost you nothing, about $3 for a seam ripper, but it is another reason to advertise. It's another reason for a post. It's another reason to get out there. So, sales and revenue streams, in-store sales of fabrics, tools, notions, website. Do you want to be on any other programs? What kind of custom quilting services do you want to offer? What kind of workshops? What kind of classes? What can you have time to do while hiring somebody else to run the register? Or do you want to have the classes in the evening? Or maybe the housewife, the mother of children, can't come in the evening. They need to come in the day when the kids are at school. There's a lot of different considerations there. Membership programs, maybe loyalty discounts. Maybe after you spend $100 with me, I'm going to give you 10% on your next purchase with maybe a topper there or maybe not. So you want to also look at always growing your fabric supply. Every time you grow your fabric supply, get new fabric in, that's a great reason to throw out another email, to send out another announcement of that. Increase marketing efforts to attract a larger audience. Offer virtual quilting classes. Yes, my friends, that is so popular now. What a great idea for remote customers. So I may live in another state, but you were so friendly to me when I win in the store, then I'm going to take your online class. I'm going to pay that $10, $20 nominal fee to still get your email, get your videos, get your whatever, or maybe the class is free. But hey, at the end, it tells you which fabrics you want to buy, which threads you want to buy to be able to make that project. So lots of great reasons there. Explore fascinating franchising and opening additional locations. My friends, we have a need right now for fabric. Who, please, 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 write down in the comments. I will advertise for you. Who is going to open a quilt store, or who is considering it? Who is considering opening a fabric store, a yarn store, to fill in the gap that we now need? Hit that comments button. I will be happy to throw your name around everywhere I can, and your location, important. So opening a quilt store, a fabric store is a lot of planning, a lot of careful thought and consideration. Has to have a passion. And I think you, I, all of us, we have a passion for what we do, and it shows. So a strong customer engagement, you've got to be willing to put in the time, put in the work, put in the people time to make it happen with a well thought out strategy, proper funding, and effective marketing. Your quilt store, your fabric shop, your yarn shop, your new business could be a really, really great go-to destination for all of us in this community and beyond. So I would really love to hear, have you ever thought about opening a store? Did you ever think that maybe with just a down payment of $35,000 amongst the initial startup costs, you could start a business? Maybe, maybe not. But hopefully I have offered food for thought, and I am encouraging all of you, please do not use your last dollar. Do not go bankrupt. Anytime you're looking at a business, starting a business, be thoughtful. Plan it out on paper. Put it out on paper right now. Maybe think about it for the next 2-3 years, adding to it constantly. Or maybe you're ready and you're ready to jump in, feet first, go for it, and make a lifetime beautiful opportunity of quilting, crafting, sewing, and playing with fabric forever. All right. Hope you have enjoyed my little brainstorming here, and hopefully some of you will put it to use. Have a great day, my friends.